Wakey, eggs and bakey. Welcome back to PM in the AM, a comedy podcast for listeners of all ages. The show that contains the kind of humor to make you laugh out loud no matter where you're listening. Each week we take a deep dive into some of the most hilarious topics found on the internet, including debates, making brackets, finding insane purchasable items, and news stories. My name is Porter McNeely. I'm joined as always by the handsome, the elegant Blake
Oh,
Bushman.
thank you.
Blake, how was
Thank
that intro this week? I gotta
I'm
know.
I was trying to decide again. I wasn't exactly sure if you were crying or rubbing your eyes awake. It kind of looked like a mix between the two. And if you're just listening to the audio version, you're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. But in the middle of the wakey wakey, Porter started out by what I'm assuming was waking up and rubbing your eyes. Right?
It was actually crying.
It was. Oh, well.
That was my best. I mean, I feel like crying isn't usually a what, so I had to kind of change it up. So I can understand how you thought I was just waking up, but yeah, I was definitely
I
going
mean,
for
it
the
would have
cry
been
there.
way more fitting to be waking up with the
Yeah.
wakey wakey. But either way, fantastic work as always, Porter.
To be fair, now that you brought that up, I really wish I would have been smart enough to recognize that and do that, but no, definitely wasn't smart enough. As I was thinking about how I was going to open the show this entire week, and I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if the listeners will agree. I kind of want to kind of switch off on this. I think maybe Blake should have to come up with a creative way to open the show, and we'll see what happens. What do you think about that, Blake?
I mean, now you're giving me a full week to prepare. So now it's better than had you said this about 10 minutes ago before we pressed record, I would have been shaking in my boots, but hopefully now I can piece something together that'll be all right.
Which is funny because that's like a perfect intro into one of the segments that we're going to be doing today, which is Blake's situational awareness, the segment where Blake gives us advice right off the top of his head. It's always crazy. It's always great. But before we get into that, Blake, we want to announce the rest of the show, which after that, we will have the not so elementary education segment coming up. That's the one that's like, are you smarter than a fifth grader? Which last time proved to be
It's the
pretty
most
destructive.
terrifying segment we do. I'm very nervous.
Yeah, currently I am not sweating. I'm ready to enjoy this first segment, but I know I will be as soon as we start getting into it. But before we do, Blake, I want to just announce make sure you're following us on Instagram at PM and the AM podcast to stay up to date with all of our show news. Make sure you've reviewed the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. We really appreciate that, and that helps the show grow. And also, we do need to announce we had a bracket finish up this last week, and that was the bracket of most useless things. Blake, male nipples won, and I want to get your opinion. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's hard to argue with it. It was the number one overall pick for a reason. It they genuinely serve no purpose, and I think there was a lot of moms out there that have had kids that really wish that male nipples served a purpose so that their husbands could have taken a load off of them. So
Oh my!
it was probably a lot of that went into it. But I can't argue with it. I mean, they have their reasons and they are valid. So
Blake, I want to say, is it seahorses where the dad, like, it switches somehow, and the father becomes like in charge of all that kind of stuff? Is
I'm
that a real thing?
I'm pretty sure seahorse like male seahorses are the ones that get pregnant and everything else. And I'm pretty sure we've had
Oh.
this discussion before that I'm almost certain that it was just a really stubborn scientist that it's actually just female seahorses, but they decided to be like, oh well, we've been calling this one male for forever. We can't change it now, so they just kept it. And but yeah, technically speaking, I guess according to whatever dumb scientist was in charge of it, the male seahorse is the one that gets pregnant. So their nipples may not be so useless. I don't actually know if they have nipples though.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, well, maybe we should have specified human male nipples because it sounds like
Yeah,
seahorses
yeah.
got to do a lot of work. So, shout out to everybody that voted alongside our polls over on Instagram, voted on our stories. We've got another bracket of the worst terms of endearment that's going to go live. We'll announce the winner of that one the next week. But yeah, Blake. So we're gonna get right into the show today. We've got situational awareness. And this one is sent in from a listener. So thanks for sending this in. Oh, also, we did make a new Google Form document where you guys can send in questions, purchasable items, basically anything that you find that you want us to discuss. Just head over to the link in our Instagram bio, the link tree. It's the top option there, and you can anonymously send in whatever you want to send in to us. So we're really excited about that. And
Yeah, we
yeah,
are trying. We're working on getting a website or something a little more official up. It is a little bit outside of the realm of Porter and I's expertise, so it's a work in progress. No promises on when that will be. So for now, go to the Google form. It can be anonymous. You can put your name on it, whatever you want, and we'll share it on the show.
absolutely. So this one comes in on Instagram, which you can do as well. And so, Blake, this listener wants to know, I want Blake's best negotiating skills that don't involve murder or stealing. It can be to get a better price or something like bartering. Because I am taking an extended vacation from work, I need both of these skills for my travels next month.
Okay, I'm happy to help. Here's the issue. I have a couple things before I get into it. The first thing, why was their first assumption that my advice was going to be murder or stealing?
I I thought that was kind of fitting after last week. You were like, I could totally get away with murder, and I was like, Blake, maybe that's just not something that you should even say. Maybe even if you
Okay,
you think it, just keep that one to yourself. So
maybe that was fresh on their minds, and I did tell you to steal from the mailman. Okay, so
I love how you answered your own question there.
yeah, I had to
Really,
work. I had to work my way through it. I was a little offended at first, but it's all right. Here's my thing, and I don't think this person is going to be extraordinarily happy with me. I avoid confrontation at all costs. I cannot do it. You bring me the wrong meal at a restaurant, I won't say a single thing. It could be my least favorite thing in the world. I just won't eat it. I won't say, they'll walk by and be like, hey, is everybody enjoying their food? And I'll just give them the biggest smile and say it's delicious because I can't do it. I don't do confrontation. And so when it comes down to bartering things, I am the worst. And it also came into when I was working at a furniture store, people would come in and try to argue our prices down. And it's a furniture store. Technically, it was clearance. And so there was a little bit more wiggle room. But even then, you don't walk into Walmart and start bartering. So it drove me crazy. And so I couldn't stand when people walked in there and started bartering. Now, the problem is I have all that pre I am against it. But when you go to these other countries and they say, "Oh, this American guy, I'm gonna make him pay through the nose for this thing." I just won't buy it. That's what it is. I if they give me a price that I know I'm like, "You're just ripping me off." I'll just be like, "All right, I'm good. I don't want it." And then I'll leave it up to them. If they want to mark the price down for me because they really want this to go through, then that's on them. But I can't do it. The only advice that I know is if like you're at a place that accepts card and then you can say you'll give them cash, maybe they will give you a little something something off the top, but I'm the worst at it, dude. I got nothing.
I am shocked. I thought for sure you were gonna have something there, but I just pictured you, Blake, on the side of the road, stranded in a third world country. They're trying to charge you an extra dollar or whatever that country's currency is for a bottle of water and a nice meal. And you're like, oh, I can't do it because they're trying to gouge me, even though it's literally like a tiny bit more. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, no, it could be like a taxi comes up and is like, "Hey, I'll take you to the
Mm-hmm,
nearest hotel or whatever,"
mm-hmm.
but they're like, "It'll just be $50," and I'm like, "That's a ripoff. I'll walk." No, I can't do it. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even respond. I would just avoid eye contact and pretend like I didn't hear him and just head down, keep walking. I don't do confrontation. So maybe you got something that you can give in on this because I got no situational awareness when it comes to bartering.
No, yeah, I mean, depending on the place you're going, obviously you got to have that awareness. Like, I'm not going to go into a mom and pop shop and just say, hey, I need this to be this price and I'm going to walk out if it's not. It's got to be, on the street, things like that. But I do think there is times where you got to barter like that. For example, me and my wife on our honeymoon, we went to Mexico. And the thing you were describing earlier, where people are just like, white guy, out of place here. We're going to try and charge him a little extra. I kind of knew about that because I have spent significant time there. And so we were at a baseball game, enjoying the game. And I said, you know what can make this game even a little bit better? And I was, an ice cold lemonade. The only thing that could make it better. So I flag down the guy that's delivering the drinks. He tells me a price, and I go, "That's insane." And I was like, "You know what I'll do? I'll do this." So I tell you tell him the price straight off the bat, and he goes, okay," and then proceeds to not come back for like 30 minutes. So I'm like, "Okay, this guy flake. I'll try and find another guy." I tell the other guy, he tries to charge me the original price. It's like way too much. I tell the other guys like, well, I had a kid that was going to get me the one for this, and he looked like, like we can't really do that, like that's too low or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's fine. While that guy is there talking to me, the kid walks back with the lemonade, gives me the
All
lemonade for that price,
right.
proceeds to get just absolutely destroyed. I assume that guy was more of like a boss or a manager in front of me. I'm trying to watch a game, and these guys are just tearing apart this kid because he gave it to me for too cheap. So I actually think I got under market value price for that lemonade, and I have never felt cooler in my entire life than that. I should have given the kid a couple extra bucks afterwards, just, like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to get you in trouble. I'm just an absolute gangster at bargaining, but I
You know
didn't.
what you did? You found the Blake of the people that are selling. That's what you got to do.
The
Because
pushover.
he's just like me. He didn't want any confrontation. He heard a different price and was like, "Yeah, sure, this isn't worth my time. I'll
Yeah.
give it to you." Because that's exactly what I would do.
So
I would. I just
you're
can't do
telling
it.
me, let's say you're at a nice restaurant, nice sit down restaurant, you order a steak. You're really excited for this
Mm.
steak, and waitress or waiter, doesn't matter who it is, mixes up your order with the different table next to you and brings you a nice Caesar salad, full size as a plate. You're telling me you're not going to speak up for yourself in that situation, Blake?
I might nudge my wife and be like, "Hey, will you ask
No.
him when my steak is coming out?" Like, I can't.
Oh my
My
gosh.
my like social anxiety just takes over, and I can't do it. I'll enjoy the salad. I will eat it. It
No.
won't be nearly as good as a steak, but I'll be like, I guess this is okay.
What
But
if the price on your ticket was then the price of the steak? Would you say anything then?
I mean, I would have a hard time with it if it was like a large, like let's say it was a nice steak. Then I
Uh,
might have somebody I'm with go up and talk to him.
I was going to say, if you had to do the talking there, how would you go about it? What would you say to rearrange that?
Are we assuming I already got the check?
Yeah, you got the check. There's a fat charge for a meal that you didn't even receive because you were just trying to go with the flow. What are
Mm.
you saying? You have to say something. It's just you. You're going to waste like $50 if you don't do it. What would you say?
I would obviously just make a really dumb joke, or so, you got to make the person laugh to get their guard down a little bit, and then I'd just say something like, "Hey, I actually never got this steak. I enjoyed my meal very much, but if I could just get charged for the salad, that would be great." And then I'd run out the door. I wouldn't even check to see if they did it right. I would leave my card there. I'd cancel it the day later because I wouldn't.
You're like, you know what? Just keep the credit card. I just want to say the limit is about $10,000. So enjoy yourself this evening and we'll be okay. Sorry for the confrontation. That's
Yeah,
hilarious. I
yeah.
totally don't see you as that kind of a person. That's what's so surprising to me is that
I
you speak your mind so much that I
mm,
just have a hard time imagining that.
yeah, when it's like an opinion of mine on something, I'll voice my mind. That I have no problem with. And especially it doesn't really even matter if it's like people that I know. But when it comes down to me like accusing somebody of either giving me too high of a price or giving me the wrong thing, that's when I go into my shell. I
Mm,
can't do it. So
that's
if it's
crazy.
if it's just me saying like, "Hey, I have this opinion that's different," that's totally okay. But when it's me in my head accusing somebody of doing their job wrong, that's when I can't do it. I see other people do it, and it makes me want to leave the restaurant when I see people do it. So to
You
this
just
person's
can't
point,
take it.
to this person's point, I have no idea. But what I will say is I am certain it helps if you speak their language,
Okay.
because if you let's because they said this was out of the country. Let's
Hmm.
assume it's Mexico or some. Spanish speaking country. If you can speak at least a little bit of Spanish to be like, ay caramba. I don't know how to say, like, you got to be kidding me. Like, if you can learn the phrase, you got to be kidding me, that would probably help, because then they're like, oh man, maybe this person knows more than I thought. Because if you show up there and you only speak English, I feel like you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage.
No, that's fair. At least like know some key catchphrases like that to let them know that you're upset, and just learn like in every single language, like, are you trying to take advantage of me? And then just completely catch them off guard. They're like, whoa, throw them back. That's crazy though, Blake. And I think you and me need to like go to a restaurant and film some sort of documentary where they just keep bringing me stuff. And I'm like, there's not
Oh my
enough of
god,
this. And you just have to sit there and
dude.
enjoy the experience.
I personally have not experienced this, but and I'm gonna get probably in trouble for even mentioning this. My wife's grandma, she is notorious for sending things back at restaurants. Like, if she gets a steak, she wants it burnt. Like, she wants it turned into charcoal. She's one of those people,
What?
but she will send it back 3 or 4 times to get how she wants, or like, it doesn't even matter. Whatever it is, she's notorious for it. I have not gone out to eat with her grandma, so I haven't seen this, but I've heard about it, and just hearing the stories makes me want to die. I can't imagine sending something back once. Sending it back multiple times, they're spitting in your food. Like,
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just the risk that you're taking, because this actually happened to me kind of recently. Me and my wife, and my family were at kind of a nicer restaurant, and it was a kind of a more expensive entree. They brought me out the steak, and it looked like the cow was still bleeding, like it was mooing, and they threw it right on the grill or on the grill. It was not edible, super chewy, just not the way. And I'd asked for medium rare, so I, was trying to be nice, and like I just really, it was expensive. I wanted it to be good. And so I just asked the waitress, and she just like grabbed my plate and like I assumed took it back and just cooked the rest of the steak on the grill. But I have no idea what she did in that time from leaving the table to the grill back to the table. She could have done anything to that steak. And I was sitting there thinking about that, and I was terrified, Blake. I'll be
yeah,
honest. I was really scared.
it's awful. When I go through the drive-through, let's say I'm at
Oh,
McDonald's, I refuse to laugh. Like, and I swear my wife becomes a comedian whenever we go through the drive-through, because she's always making me laugh about something, and I know that person's gonna think I'm laughing at them, and they're
yeah.
gonna do something to my food. It, like, I don't know what it is about whenever somebody is like serving me something, my brain just goes into a different place, and I can't stand it. So yeah, good luck with your trip. Hopefully you don't spend too much. If not, I guess you're not buying anything, because I don't know how much help we were.
Because Blake's curling up in a ball on the side of the road when they try to
Yeah.
sell him anything. All right. Well, we appreciate your attempted advice. He's usually got better advice, everyone. So make sure to send those questions in. This was just a hard thing for him. But we are going to be right back with the not so important or not so elementary education segment. You're definitely not going to want to miss some of these questions we've got coming up. So stay tuned.
With warmer temperatures approaching, there is no better way to cool off than with some authentic Brazilian açaí from Barraca Açaí. I lived in Brazil for 2 years and I fell in love with açaí, but when I came back to the US, I was pretty disappointed with the quality of the options here. That is, until I found Barraca Açaí, which tastes exactly like what they serve in Brazil, because that's exactly what it is. Imported from Brazil and delivered to your doorstep, it is the best treat for summer months. Whether you want it as a healthier alternative to ice cream, or covered in sweetened condensed milk like I do, acai is a superfood that is super delicious. If you're interested, visit their Instagram at Bahaka Acai. That's BAHAKAACAI. And send them a DM and let them know that PM in the AM sent you.
And we are back. We've got another great segment coming up. We have got Not So Elementary Education, a new fan favorite on the show, Blake, where we make ourselves look like complete fools.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if this is why it's a fan favorite, because we every time end up sounding so dumb. And I know we sound dumb, and we're well aware of that. But I encourage you, please play along and let us know how you did, because it makes me feel a little bit better when somebody reaches out and is like, "Hey, I also got that wrong." So if you got it right, we don't want to hear about it. That's only if you get things wrong. Let us know. Let us know how smart we are. If you haven't seen this segment before, it's something we've done a couple of times, and I'm sure we're going to do more going forward because people seem to love it. But what it is, it's in the style of "Are you smarter than a fifth grader?" So Porter and I have two questions from each grade, 1 through 5, and we can choose between each topic, and then we have a couple different power ups of, if we're not super confident in the question. The first one is we can enter the transfer portal where we can change topics from one to the other. Let's say we got a math question we didn't like, and the one we chose not to do was history. We can go answer that history question instead, or we can be held back and we get a second chance at guessing the answer to the question. If we are kind of in between two, we can get a second chance. So those are the two power ups we have. We only have one of each. So once you use it, it is gone. Once we get to the 6th grade to graduate, we don't have a choice at topics anymore. It is only one, and then it's multiple choice. And we'll have to see if we can even make it that far before we worry about that.
I know, as you're explaining the power ups, I'm getting ready to use them in the first grade. But
I know,
Blake,
that's the worst.
you did win the. Actually, no, I won the latest bracket. So
You
I
did,
think
yeah.
that makes me have the power to ask you first grade questions. And I have for you science or U.S. history.
I'm going to go with science. I don't do history well.
All right, Blake, your first grade question is what causes ocean tides?
The moon. The
That is
moon's like
correct.
gravitational pull.
The moon. I just had the moon. So
Okay.
just, I mean, first grade, we're not going to get that far into it. But yeah, great job.
All right,
That
I'll
was
take it.
quick.
I'm locked in on the first grade. Apparently, can we stay in the first grade? Let's just do only first grade questions from now on.
Yeah,
All
those
right.
were both of them that I had were just super easy. So
All right.
hopefully you got
Well,
some of the same.
hopefully it depends on which one you pick, in my opinion, but we'll see. Your first grade options are between grammar and animal science. And while you're thinking about your option, I will clarify both of us did go back into the archives of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader and pull our questions from the show. So if ones are harder than others, that's just,
The luck of the draw.
luck of the draw because these are straight from the source material. All right,
Okay.
Porter, what are you thinking? Animal science or grammar?
I got to take grammar.
Okay. How many contractions are in the following sentence? If John sneaks a snack when his mom isn't looking, he will get into trouble. And now you have a couple options. There's either 0, 1, or 2. And let me know if you want me
I
to
think
repeat
it's
that.
like, I think if is a contraction. Well, what is a contraction? I'm thinking of conjunction.
Yeah,
Oh,
here's the
no.
here's what I know about
No, and is a.
contractions.
Wait, no.
A contraction is when a woman that is pregnant gets close to.
When you said contractions, that was my first train of thought. All
All right,
right, go over the
let
sentence
me
again.
repeat the sentence for you. If John sneaks a snack when his mom isn't looking, he will get into trouble.
I think it's is and isn't. No, if or isn't. Oh, contraction is the one with the apostrophe T. If John sneaks a snack when his mom isn't looking, then he will get in trouble. Is that the sentence?
He won't get in trouble.
Oh, okay. I am going to say two.
Locking it in?
I don't think I should. I'm gonna I'm gonna go with the two guess. You know what? I'm gonna take the held back, and
Okay.
unfortunately, like that's the lowest grade. But
This is a tricky one. This
is there
I will
two in
say
there?
there is two.
Oh, so I didn't. I wasted the held back, but it's worth it in first grade.
You had it though. I'm like 90% sure that it is with an apostrophe. So it is
You're not telling me you don't even know what it was, and you
isn't
asked me.
isn't and won't are the two contractions in that
Dang,
sentence.
dude, I really had to work for that. I am
Yeah.
straight. My palms
Hey,
are sweaty.
you made it though, and that's what's important. So
Dang, I gotta
on
get
to
some.
second
I got
grade
some
we go.
momentum. Here we go. Yeah. All right. All right. For second grade, you have math or industrialization.
What on earth could that even be about? I almost want to get that just so I can figure that out. But I'm going to go with, oh crap. Do I really want to go with math and embarrass myself again? Or do I want to redeem myself with math? I'm going to go math.
I think that was a wise choice.
Okay.
All right.
What is industrialization?
Industry, baby. All right, so math. 2 dozen kittens and 3 dozen puppies get adopted from the shelter. How many animals were adopted?
So 2 dozen kittens and 3 dozen puppies. So that's
Correct.
24 kittens and 36 puppies. So that is 40, 60. Locking it
Locking
in.
it in? That is correct. Great job.
I know
I
math, guys.
what I wanted to see happen there is you get the 12 or the 24 and 36 right and then add it up to 50. I thought there was a
Oh man.
chance.
I genuinely in my head I was like, is this am I dumb? Like I really I had to lock it in fast to make myself look smart, but
Yeah.
then I was really panicking that I did it too fast and was gonna get something wrong. So we
Great
made
job,
it.
Blake.
We made
Great
it.
job.
Thank you. All right, your second grade options are social studies or math.
I'm taking social studies all the way.
All right. Among the men featured on Mount Rushmore, who was the first to be a U.S. president? So here's a follow up
Oh,
question.
dude.
Who is on Mount Rushmore, Porter?
I want to say Lincoln for sure and George Washington, Thomas Jefferson maybe. And we've even talked about Mount Rushmore vaguely before, but I don't think we've ever talked about who's on there.
Okay. So
Is
all you have to know is who was the first to be a U.S. president among the men featured on Mount Rushmore.
I'm
So
entering
it's
the
a,
transfer portal. I have no idea who's on there. I mean, I assume it's George Washington, and I guess since I've entered the transfer portal, you could potentially clarify that for us because there's no way we can come back to it. But I'll enter the transfer portal and go into math.
okay. True or false? If Porter adds two odd numbers together, the result will always be an even number. He's really going through it right now.
I'll say that is true.
That is correct. It is true.
Let's go.
By the way, George Washington was the first president featured
Dude, I'm
on.
I'm overthinking it today. I'm
Yeah,
not rolling the
you
dice. I'm
had
playing
it.
scared.
You had it. You
Oh
had
my
it. You're.
gosh, dude. The way that question was worded though, it was just really scary.
Mhm.
I'm not rolling the dice today. Now I have to. I'm forced to the rest of the way. I've burned it to get this far
Which
and
those were the first two grades. It doesn't get better if you're wondering.
dang it, man. All right. All right, so we're both moving on to third grade. I at least had to get this far to, make it a show or something. So
All
here we
right.
go, Blake. You have human anatomy or geography.
I will go geography. I am awful with anatomy.
Okay, Blake. What is the largest ocean?
The Pacific Ocean.
Locking it in?
Yes.
That is correct. Dude, you're
Yes,
just
baby.
mowing through my stuff
Yes.
today. Oh
Yes.
my
I'm
gosh.
awful with oceans too.
I
But
know. That's why I thought that was a good one.
that's yeah, the one thing that I know is the largest ocean is the
Dang.
Pacific. Now, if you ask me if it's cold or warm, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. But I do know it's big. All right.
Jeez.
Okay. Your third grade options are geography or geometry.
I think geometry is like triangles and stuff, so I'm
Shapes,
probably
yeah.
gonna take geography and get out right here.
Okay. The
I,
Salton Sea is a lake located in which U.S. state?
and I really wish I wouldn't have burned my transfer portal on the last round. The Salton Sea?
The Salton Sea is a lake located in which U.S. state? If you want, I will allow you to enter the transfer portal because these questions have been brutal.
The Salton Sea.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Salton Sea? Because I had not
I
before
don't think I
this.
have, but I'm like trying to think of because we're from Utah. We got the Great Salt Lake here, and
Hmm.
so I think that's like the biggest salt lake in the U.S. and
Yeah.
I'm
Why is it called a lake and this place is called a sea and I've
yeah,
never
that's
even
what
heard of it?
my
This
first thought was
sea
like
got
Middle
upgraded.
East.
Yeah,
Yeah, what the heck?
that was my exact thought too. So I don't think anyone will fault you for missing this unless they're from this state and this is super popular. I will give you a hint. It is in the southern part of this state.
Southern.
Yeah,
Okay. I
because on the show they showed a map of it when they gave the answer. That's the only reason I know.
I and we have like a map on this wall behind the camera that I'm looking at. It doesn't have like locations or anything on it. It's just kind of like a blank map that you fill out as you travel.
mm,
But
mm.
I'm kind of looking at it right now, and I would assume it has to be on the Gulf. And I just don't know
I
the
will
state
allow you
I'm.
to enter the transfer portal as well if you wish,
All
because
right,
these
yeah,
questions have been tough.
okay. I wish to enter to the transfer portal then, but I think it's Texas.
It is California. Yeah, Southern California has the Salton Sea, which is super dumb,
Dang, I
but
had
that
no
was what
idea,
they asked on the show, so I
dude. That's not in the
included it.
South.
It's in the southern part of California.
Oh, you didn't say South part of the state.
Yes, I did. I said
Oh,
it's
I
in the
thought you said
southern.
South part of the U.S.
Oh no! All right, that's even good. I gave you that transfer portal then because
Yeah, I was
I
off.
confused you with my hint. All right. Okay, now the geometry question is a triangular prism has two triangular faces and how many quadrilateral faces?
That would be three.
That is correct. It is three.
I, all these, the other one is so much easier than the one. Like, this is just flipping a coin, me
I
getting
told you.
unlucky.
I told you. It really depends on which one you pick on mine
Dang.
because some of these are a lot easier than others.
Dude, I am so excited for these fourth grade questions I have for you because I think I finally leveled up to your difficulty. So we
All
have
right, let's hear
U.S.
it.
government or grammar.
I hate both of those.
Ah, now I know. Good thing I know that now. I'm locking that.
U.S. government or grammar. My wife would kill me if I missed a grammar question, but it took me a long time to figure out what a contraction was. Um, I will go to government and just hope for the best.
Okay. What are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution called?
The Bill of Rights.
That is correct.
Yes, I'm
Dude.
locked in, baby. Yeah, let's go. I
Sweet,
actually,
man.
that was a shot in the dark. I did not feel confident on that one at all. That was like one of the few documents of that I could remember the name of. So,
Dude, I had to say, you are locked in today. Holy cow, you haven't
oh,
even used that power
I'm
up yet.
feeling good. Oh, that's true. I got, whew, okay,
This
good.
might be the first time somebody ever graduates.
Yeah, we'll see. I
There's a
wouldn't get
lot of
too far
pressure
ahead.
on you right
I
now,
wouldn't
Blake.
get
There
too
is
far ahead
so
of
much pressure.
myself. All right, your fourth grade questions are math or literature.
Let's go literature.
Okay,
I made a mistake, didn't I?
your your yeah, yeah. Every time I know one of the answers and the other one I didn't know, and you keep getting
I'm
the
walking
one that
into
I didn't.
traps, dude. Why are they all my favorite subjects?
All right, your fourth grade literature question is first published in 1838. The novel Oliver Twist follows the story of an orphan who meets a gang of pickpockets in London. Who is the author of that novel?
All right, so let's think back to 1838. I was negative 140. Okay, who was running the Barnes and Noble back then? Who was really the New York Times bestseller? 1838. I'm sure it's some sort of a recognizable name, but I'm just gonna, throw a shot out there. I have no idea. I am dead here anyway, so I am going to say, who was an author in that time? I know the only name I can think of is Ernest Hemingway. Locking it in.
Are you locking it in?
Yes.
It is Charles Dickens.
Oh no. Dude, I'm
Yeah.
so stupid. That
I
was like a perfect old author right there.
yeah, ironically, I was going to give you it didn't include this in the show, so I didn't, but I was going to make it multiple choice of Ernest Hemingway, Mark Twain, and Charles Dickens.
I would have
But
been in a pretzel anyway, so I'm not sure that would have helped much. There it is again. Was this only fourth grade for me, or was that fifth
That
grade?
was fourth grade. Yep.
Man, I'll
You
say
want
it
to
on
hear
the
the math
show.
question? Just
I'm an idiot. I was wrong again. But Blake, you're still alive. You're still moving forward,
All right, let's
and
do it.
I hope to at least make you use a power up here. So we have geography for fifth grade or fifth grade grammar.
Geography. Grammar scares me, bro.
All right. Imaginary lines traversing the globe from pole to pole are called.
Okay, this is either longitude or latitude, but I think latitude is horizontal, so I'm going to say the longitudinal lines.
You locking that in?
I will use a. I'm going to be held back just in case, because although I can't enter the transfer portal in the sixth grade, so or I still got the.
You're in the fifth. Yeah, you could if you want. But you could also be held back and then enter the transfer portal if you still don't know it.
All right, I'll be held back. I'll be held back just in case.
Okay.
Longitudinal line.
That is incorrect. And I'll give you a hint. You're not really close.
Can you repeat the question then?
Mhm. Imaginary lines traversing the globe from pole to pole are called blank.
Is it? See, now I'm confused. I don't know what else it would be besides the longitudinal lines. And if you said I'm not close, then it's definitely not latitude. So that can't be it. The only other thing that I can think of is something with like the time zones. So it might be like the meridian something. Um, Crap, the other one was grammar.
Hmm.
I don't want to do that. I can't
I
think of.
finally put you in the blender. How does it feel,
Yeah,
Blake?
I can't think of what it would. I feel like it has to be something with like the meridian something, but I can't think of what the name would be. I'm not going to get it right, so I'm going to enter the transfer portal.
Okay. So your grammar question.
Grammar,
The
grammar.
words the, and are known as what in English grammar?
Prepositions,
Are you locking it in?
maybe. I have no idea what a preposition is.
I don't either.
Uh, well, then I don't think that's the answer. Okay, hang on. The and
And
and and the what's a pronoun? No, that's not it.
that's
Pronouns are
something that
like
like
pronouns are like he and she and
yeah, exactly.
it. So that's not it. All right. I can't think of any other type of like word that describes something. There's con, conjunction yep. Con, I will say preposition because I don't know anything else. I don't think that's right, but I'm locking it in.
That is incorrect. They
What
are
is it?
known as articles.
Oh, I never would have gotten there. Is
But you
is
had
is the other one the
meridian.
meridian? Is it?
Meridian was correct.
It is
Just
just
meridians.
meridian.
Meridians
Ah,
plural. That was
I
correct. I couldn't believe it. You almost had that one.
I
That would
should
have been
have
incredible.
guessed it. That was the only other thing that I could think it would have been called. But I thought maybe there was something like the meridial line, the blah blah blah. So
Yeah, no,
I
you
didn't want to
had it.
lock it in.
You were right
Bummer.
there with it. But I say, what do you say, Blake? Congratulations. You win this week's edition of Not So Elementary Education. Do you want to use the sixth grade question that you have and see if we can get them right, or would you like to save it for next time?
I mean, I suppose we can go for it if I think we owe it to the people. But
All right. I'll ask you yours first. You know, you're
okay,
hot off of a miss. You probably need some momentum here. So, which two words are homophones? Lie and lie, decal and laced, road and road, bookcase and bookshelf.
homophones. Okay, so none of these sound like gay phones to me, so I don't know. Will you repeat the question to
Ooh.
me?
Lie and lie, decal and
Okay.
laced, road and road, bookcase and bookshelf.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk myself through this. My initial impression of what a homophone is words that sound the same but have different meanings. Which lie and lie makes sense, but I'm almost wondering if it's lay and lie and you're just lying to my face, or if it's lie and lie and it's like something else. So I will say road and road. Final answer.
I think for the wrong reason, you are correct.
I don't
Actually,
care.
no. I think that's the right reason. I think it is because it's like they're spelled differently, but they sound the same. I think that's what it is. I think you got that
Ah,
perfectly. Great
all
job.
right.
Congratulations.
I'll
You
take
know
it.
your homophones very well.
Okay. All right. Do you want your sixth grade question here?
Yeah, might as well. Let's see what I got.
It is a history question.
Oh boy.
Also known as the European Recovery Act,
Mm.
what U.S. government program that began in 1948 and was named for a U.S. Secretary of State helped rehabilitate the economies of over a dozen European countries after World War One?
Oh, that's easy. That is the
Do-
Obamacare.
it is multiple choice. Sorry.
Okay.
Obamacare? No, that's not. The Treaty of Versailles, the
Ooh.
Marshall Plan, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, or the Schieffelin Plan. I could pronounce all of these wrong, by the way. I have no promise that I pronounce them right.
I'm gonna say the Treaty of Versailles because Obamacare wasn't an option.
No, it was not. It was the Marshall Plan.
Dang. Ah, the only one that sounded American. I was thinking that in my
Yeah,
head. Oh,
yeah. It. Here's the
dang.
thing. On the show, they didn't give it multiple choice, so I just had to come up with
Wow.
different options. Um,
That's crazy.
but I just realized as I was reading it to you that in the question it does say it was named after a U.S. Secretary of State, and that probably would have given it away that it's the Marshall Plan.
I was sold on Obamacare the entire way.
But
I couldn't think of anything else.
yeah, no. So I guess we
Dang.
didn't. Neither of us would have made it through sixth grade, anyways. But hopefully we didn't make as big of a fool of ourselves this time as we did last time. I feel a little more confident in our showing.
No, yeah, Blake definitely did. You did great today. I'm
Oh,
impressed.
thank you, thank you.
Congratulations on your victory. We'll see how this segment goes going forward. I was thinking, potentially we could bring on a listener to have them compete against one of us, whoever they choose. And I'm assuming after this week's edition, if anybody wants to come on, they're probably going to choose me just because they saw Blake absolutely dominate the first couple of grades. But,
Yeah,
let us know if
until I
you're
get to fifth
interested.
grade and I crumble.
Let us know if you're interested. I think that would be pretty sweet. Um, Anything you got for the listeners on the way out today, Blake?
No, that's it. If you think you can beat us, though, we welcome the challenge. So
Let's
bring
go.
it on.
Let's go. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week.
Peace out.
Congrats on making it all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. You are now officially part of the PM and the AM fan base, the morning people, and we are super pumped to have you here. Now that you're a part of the crew, please share the episode with a friend, and make sure to check out the rest of our shows and social media content for more hilarious brackets, crazy questions, and an overall great time. Thanks for listening. It truly means a lot to us, and we'll catch you guys next week.